Okay. Trump, on his social media thing, is celebrating the demise of Stephen Colbert. You guys know what I think of him. I wrote a column on it. It's on BillO'Reilly.com. By the way, you don't have to be premium members to read the message of the column. Just go there and read it for everybody. You know, I was on late night 75 times in my career. I think is a record. I mean, maybe Jackie Mason or Shecky Green beat me, or Robin Williams was on a lot. And I know these guys. And Colbert, he's, of all of them, he's my least favorite. Because he was in it to harm people with whom he disagrees. That's what he was in it for. Stewart's in it for comedy, satire. He's left. But I never saw him, you know, really want to hurt anybody. Same thing, I mean, Letterman was rough. If you Google O'Reilly Letterman, you'll see some shootouts. Leno and Kimmel didn't used to be political, but he hates Trump. And so he's crossed over. But anyway, Colbert is canceled. And there's two reasons why. Number one, CBS is being sold to a more conservative corporation called Skydance. And number two, the Colbert Show lost $40 million last year. Why? Because Colbert is not funny anymore. Roll the tape.
At this point, Trump isn't even trying to hide his awfulness. In the first Trump term, it took a disease to destroy the economy. This time, he is the disease. To be clear, Trump is pre-announcing that he's going to break any law he wants to get whatever he wants. Now, I'm no revolutionary. I can't grow the beard. But that is a tyrannical declaration of power.
Okay, so why do we need that every night? Nobody wants to watch that. He's got 2 million and a few 100,000 viewers, but that's nothing. He's losing 40 million a year, and he makes 15 million, so he's out. Joining us now from North Carolina is a guy who knows the networks, particularly CBS, very well. His name is Bernard Goldberg. We call him Bernie, but you know, it's Bernard, and that's what you punch up when you want to go to his website for wisdom and perspective. That good? Did I say it the way you wrote it? Okay, excellent. I'm a pro. I mean, I can do that. All right. Now, I think this is a bigger story than Stephen Colbert. And I predicted, as you know, that Colbert would go. And there are going to be some people on The View that are going to go. And Kimmel, possible. But it's a bigger story in the sense that the network television is finished. It is over. It is not coming back, and that includes the news agencies. Do you agree?
I do.
All right. So you wrote a book early on called Bias when you were a correspondent at CBS, and Bernie and I worked for a brief time together at the network. And you nailed it with Dan Rather and that crew that they were shading the news to the left, and it really wasn't an honest play. That contagion spreads all throughout CBS now. There isn't one traditional conservative commentator to be seen on the entire network. Do you think that had something to do with its demise?
Yeah, I do. Bias, which came out right after 9/11, was a wake-up call. It was a warning shot about liberal bias and the harm it causes. But instead of paying attention, what they did was they called me every name in the book. They called me, and I mean this literally, they called me a traitor. These are people who don't call real traitors traitor, but they called me a traitor. I survived. I'm not at all sure they will. The new management, Skydance, is headed up by David Ellison, whose father, Larry, who I interviewed while I was at CBS, his father, Larry, is good friends with Donald Trump. David Ellison met with Brandon Carr, this FCC chairman, the other day, and said, I want more voices, more variety of voices at CBS News, which leads me to say this, Bill, and I'm saying it not literally, but you'll get the idea. there's a better chance that you, Bill O'Reilly, will be the next anchor of the CBS Evening News than will Scott Pelley, who is a liberal who hates Donald Trump, or at least doesn't like Donald Trump. They want a variety of voices, and the liberal ones they have now don't provide any variety.
All right, but there's no difference between CBS, NBC, and ABC, correct? It's the same.
Yeah, but I know CBS better. But
I
that's
know,
correct.
but I want your opinion on that. It's the same
Yeah.
across the board, right?
That's right.
Okay, so you got Paramount, which is going to sell. You got Comcast. You got Disney. You got three major corporations here. They all have taken their network franchises way to the left, not a little, way to the left. And I'm saying to myself, why? Why would you hire a Steven Colbert when 80 million people voted for Donald Trump?
Yeah,
and not one of those people are ever going to watch Steven Colbert. Why would you hire him?
You know, Michael Jordan famously said he was asked to endorse a Democratic candidate for the U.S. Senate. And he said, you know, Republicans buy sneakers too. It's as if these people don't understand that Republicans have TV sets too, that Republicans watch television too.
They have
What's
to.
that?
They have to. A
They
guy
don't
like
care. They
okay,
don't care.
now we're getting there. But if you're the CEO of Brian Roberts at NBC and Iger at Disney, God knows who's running CBS. All right, your duty is to make your corporation profitable. But they have put their ideology above that and ruined the three networks top to bottom.
I think they have a knee-jerk reaction. And I'd like to know what you think about this. If you say, and I think I reasonably said it in bias, there's a liberal bias in the news. There's no conspiracy. Back then, there was no conspiracy. There's a lack of diversity of opinion. Dan Rather never came in, closed the door, called his top lieutenants in, doused the lights, pulled the shades, gave the secret handshake and the secret salute, and said, let's get those conservatives today. It never, ever happened that way. It was groupthink. They had too many people of the same political mentality. I don't think Bob Iger or the other CEOs think too deeply about this, but I think if you come out like I did and say there's a liberal bias in the news, they automatically think you're a right-wing screwball, and they reject what you say and they go the other way. Just as Biden went the other way on the border because Trump said there are too many illegals coming into the border. Biden went the other way. I think if you say there's a liberal bias in the news, no matter how reasonably you say it, and I hope I said it reasonably, they will just circle the wagons, put up a brick wall, and say, we're not listening to him. He's a conservative, as if being a conservative is tantamount to being a racist, a misogynist.
Right, in their mind. But it's more about believing what they want to believe. One of my themes here is that you can't persuade some people about anything, no matter how many facts you have, because they believe what they want to believe. That's it. And that's where these CEOs are. Because when you have a network, NBC is a great example. And that NBC network, that's huge. I mean, that goes across, they got cable, Comcast, they got network, they got everything. There isn't one, not one, even moderate conservative that has got any cachet on the network. Not one. That is by design. It's a culture. And then the other thing is when PBS and NPR got denied their funding, thank God, by the way, I don't want my money going into those operations. Both of the CEOs go, oh, we're not liberal. No.
Well, hold on. That's the key point. That's the key point.
I mean, it's crazy.
I don't think they're lying. I think they're delusional.
I think they're lying. You'd have to, you could not say, that'd be like me saying, I'm not Irish.
No, there's a difference.
I'm not Irish. No,
It's a
no,
different-
I'm Scandinavian. Look, you couldn't run an operation the night before Frontline runs an hour and 20-minute documentary, and this is their big doc unit. You got a CEO's got to be aware of it, okay? An hour and 20 minutes that Trump is this fascist dictator. They used 3 pro-Trump people in the hour and 20 minutes and 20 anti-Trump. And you're going to say to the public, we're not biased?
I think the problem is this, Bill. They think they could spot a conservative 100,000 miles away. The conservative could be hiding behind a brick wall and they'll spot the conservative. But they think, trust me on this, I witnessed this at CBS News. They think they're not liberal. They think they're reasonable. They think they're moderate. They think they're
Noble.
mainstream.
Noble is the word. Noble is the word you're looking for.
No, I'll add that to my list.
That's
They
the
think
top
noble.
word. They feel
But-
they're noble, so all of the decisions they make to shut out any kind of traditional or conservative voice is built on those are bad people, my side are good people, and that's what we're going to do. Last word.
Well, you're absolutely right about that. You could be this much to the right of center in a newsroom. And by the way, you'd have a tough time finding anybody even this much to the right of center at the New York Times or CBS News. And they'll spot you as if you had 2 heads. But you could be this much to the left of center and they don't notice it. It's just
They
you
don't care.
blend in. You
Yeah.
blend in.
Right. All right, Bernie Goldberg, check his website, bernardgoldberg, oneword.com. Bernie, good to see you. Enjoy the summer.
Thanks, Bill.
Appreciate it very much.
Next time.